sound of those ping pong balls for the last couple of weeks. Like I can't say how much I love that.
Sometimes you just miss it. You know?
Welcome
everyone
everyone
to like ping pong places just to hear it.
Absolutely. Welcome everyone to Friday Night Live, the best place on the internet, with the one and only visibility hacking crew. I'm Molly, we got Jim, we got Lefty, the video Jedi, and we are here to help you take your content to the next level. In other words, we like to bring more attention to your message, your mission, and your movement. Heck yeah!
Well played. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome.
Hello.
Tonight we're going to kick off the newest series or mini series in our year of content plan. We talk about creating that year of content plan for your business, and we put it into play here. So if you're following along in how this whole system works, we're now onto a new block of content, and we're going to start talking about repurposing your content. Talked a lot about creating short form content, grabbing attention, all of that great stuff. But now we're going to show you how to take all of that work you've done and get it to work for you 24/7 while you sit back because you've already done the work. Now let's use those assets to start working for us. So that's my little sprinkling of what's about to happen for the next few weeks. So Jim, what do you got to say?
I really enjoyed last week, talking short form content. We had on the absolutely incredible Carrie Thomas Amaro, and she gave away some gold bombs. Yeah. It wasn't nuggets; she was handing out bombs. And so shout out to Richard McCauley watching with us. Obviously, we always appreciate having you here, Richard. But it's all about systems. Right. If we can systemize it and we can fit it and schedule it into our lives, then it's not so hard because it's just part of it all. Right. So I think a big problem, myself included, is if I don't schedule it, it doesn't exist.
Yeah.
And then I double and triple book everything.
You mean you're not just spontaneous and just pick up a camera when you feel like it, like old Lefty does?
No. I am not that person, Lefty. I wish I could be, but I am not.
You know what? For me, I have, oh my God, I think my mind, like everybody else's, but I think like video-wise, my mind races at like a billion times a second. Forget a million times a second. And because of that, if I have that itch, I gotta scratch it right away. Like for me, it doesn't work that way to be like, oh, I have an idea. Tuesday, June 17th at 3 p.m. I am going to film that itch that I have.
When you say it like that, I understand where you're coming from, especially when you're a creative monster like Lefty. Where he's
but it works. If it works for you, everybody has to do what works for them because not everybody is built the same. Not everybody is engineered the same. And that's why we have to come together and put pieces to the puzzle to help each other out and grow.
So Lefty, let me get this straight. You have never, ever recorded a piece of content, edited it, and then saved it to put out when you were maybe sick, on vacation, wanting to just have a day off?
Oh, in terms of scheduling the content? Yes, of course I've done that. I thought we were talking about scheduling to actually make the content.
No, scheduling is more about like if you look at the year of content process, what we get people to do is create those themes. Figure out what is the topic flow that's going to allow you to tell that whole story in manageable bite-sized pieces. So we know what topic we're going to talk about, but as we flow, for those who want to be extra structured, you can pre-record stuff. For those who want to be super organized, you can batch record stuff and sprinkle them out along that schedule. Or you could be like Lefty and just wing it, but you're not actually winging it. You're giving yourself just enough structure that you're going to make sense. Everything will fit together in the theme,
Mhm.
You're allowed to flow because you're like, cool, I can go in any direction I want, but I know what my topic is. If I feel
Okay.
like just walking around and creating content, I can do that today. I know what I'm talking about. If I need to do something pre-scheduled, or what Jim showed me, what really drew me to this process is if you have all of your topics laid out, you can then go, oh, I have an expert guest who I can slot in right there. Because a lot of guests take a lot of pre-work to be able to do that. Or you look back and you're like, cool, I can do a collaboration with someone here. Now I can put the work into organizing that. When I say scheduling, that's what I mean.
Yeah,
Okay.
generally speaking, if you want to reach out to, let's say, like a big name in the space about a topic that you may not be the best suited to take on. So as an example, here we talk about all things content, getting attention onto your mission, your message, and your movement in a noisy marketplace. So if you want to talk about straight up ads, are we the best people to talk about that? No. We can do them, but we don't do them nearly as well as the experts. So we would bring in an expert. So one of these big names, generally speaking, they're not booked out 8 months in advance. But we know that we will need them in 8 months. So the chances of them being available at that time are dramatically higher. And you can get much higher end people to come onto your show, which will then hopefully translate to shared audiences, JV opportunities, relationships, friendships, and all the wonderful things that come along with publishing on a regular basis.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so to go based on that, since that's what we're talking about scheduling, I think you have to first think of like the motive behind the content, right? So I'm gonna give two perfect examples. I'm doing a free 100-day video sales letter masterclass in my Facebook group. Through and through, video sales letters, besides what I truly feel is the creativity in which you're really paying for, the beef and the juice within the VSL, a lot of it is like kind of structured in a way that is structured in the right way that can kind of be used for everybody. So it doesn't really matter when I post it and how I post it, because the content is going to remain the same. But if you're also someone like me who, let's say, is a wrestling fan, and next week I'm going to be sitting on my couch for 48 hours just indulging in all that it is WrestleMania, I cannot put out a YouTube video on WrestleMania in June. So there are things based on the motive behind the video in which, yes, you can schedule it and it doesn't matter when it goes out, but then there's also things that are time sensitive that, if, like Molly mentioned, if I was sick, honestly, Molly, I would rather just tell you guys, go on a quick story or a live or something and just be like, I can't film today. Love you. See you next week. Honestly, I would rather just do that than like try and schedule something that I didn't have time for.
True. So that brings me to another question then. Like, just thinking off the top of my head, thank you for giving me this inspiration. Now there's short form content, like personality content. Here's what I'm doing in my day-to-day life. Lefty, you have a name for that. What is I think you call it your lifestyle post every week.
Yeah.
So
like a walk and
so
talk
Lefty
kind of a thing?
No, Lefty always, it's like every day or something. It's in his schedule. Every day he posts a different highlight of like a snippet of day in the life, like not day in the life, snapshot in my life of his lifestyle within this entrepreneurship that he's doing. So he'll have like a picture of him and someone he's filming with, or a cool location he's at, or just like a picture of the Tesla or something, like something that just says, right here, right now, I'm doing something that's really cool. Are you? So there's that content, which I love and is really attracting people, but it's also playing that relatability and that achievement. Like, I'm trying to be that, or the audience wants to be what you're portraying. But then there's also this whole secondary group of content, which is on message. What is your, I don't really know how to say it. within the year of content process, I'm talking with my fingers. Within the year of content process, we talk about the themes and topics that are relevant to what we are experts in, right? That is a whole nother schedule of content. That's where we want to do things that are keyword focused. That's where we want to do things that are more planned out, like interviews and whatnot. So Lefty, we're just putting Lefty on the hot seat today.
That's okay.
So Lefty, how do you manage those two things when it comes to your, let's call it scripted content and lifestyle content, just to be easy.
Okay.
So your lifestyle content, yeah, if you're sick, definitely I know you're going to create a short or some sort of short form bite-sized content that's going to tell people what's going on right now, and you'll engage in those comments. We know that. But what about your scripted content? When you have those really well thought out, well edited videos that you post on your YouTube channel, are you planning those themes out ahead of time? Or are you literally just going, I saw that cool thing on Netflix and I got some opinions and I'm going to record it and then I'm going to post it, and who knows when I'll post something again?
That's a great question. So, it's half and half, right? Like it's half and half. Like, I had this whole thing. I did like a 4-part series on VSLs on my YouTube video, and it was just going to be 4 quick videos. Funny enough, I don't know how well my last video is going to be, part 4, which was kind of like the execution, where the execution, in my opinion, is like, are you going to be using ads, or are you going to be pushing it out organically or whatever? I'll be completely honest. I did not even consider planning that video. It's probably going to perform really badly, but the first 3 videos were more like, okay, this is what we can do. This is what you can stay away from. It was very educational, and it was all about learning. To the last video, which you think it's going to be this great, massive thing, and don't get it twisted, I still think I did a pretty decent job with it, but it was more of a tip than it was bringing like a learn to the equation. So it was more just like, hey, and just to give a quick run of the mill of the video, it was kind of like your VSL is only as good as your network. And if your network is not that strong, I would highly recommend staying away from pushing it organically. Right? So that's kind of the tip that I have.
So I have a comment on that.
Comment away.
A constructive comment.
Let's go.
I don't know how constructive it is, but this is my experience.
You fuck, Lefty.
This is my experience. So speaking from my personal Jim Beard weird ass experience.
As a VSL expert.
As a VSL dude, is you put up a roadblock. So you said, it's easy, it's awesome, it's amazing. You get to the end and you're like, don't do it organic. And they're like, what? We came all this way, Lefty. I thought I knew you, man. I thought we were tight. And now you're going to slam me with this non-organic approach, baby. Why? I thought we were close. And then you're like, nah, this is all ads. And they're like, dude, I'm broke by broke, Lefty. That's why I'm watching your YouTube channel, because I want to have that gold toilet in a Tesla, baby. And you're like, no, not organic, not for you, friend.
Okay.
And so my opinion is that you kind of put up a roadblock. What do you think?
I want to say no. And the reason why I say no, hold on, hear me out for a second. So this is another misconception that people have with ads. And I also address this in the video, where it's like the moment someone hears ad, it's like $1 million goes through their brains. It's like, oh my God, I don't have the funds for this. What am I going to do? But in reality, ads serve so many different purposes. And depending on the ad, they also have different ad spends. Now, another thing that I was actually taught by one of my experts is, if you ever did run a larger ad campaign, let's say it was the typical $30 a day that people normally spend, which ends up being roughly about $1,000 a month. Now, if you do that, but you fail to nurture your business page, Facebook wants to eat your ad spend. But you need to nurture it with a campaign, even if it's $5 a day, which don't do daily budgets, because what you're pretty much telling Facebook at this point is saying, whether you get me a lead or not, spend my $25. That I don't care. But when you turn around and put lifetime budget and you say, over the course of the next 4 months, I want you to spend $5,000. Now, no matter what, Facebook is going to get you leads. They're going to get you people coming through your door. But you can also take that VSL that you think, oh my God, I have to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to advertise. No, you can also run it as a brand awareness campaign on a $5 daily budget if you just want people to notice what it is that you're doing. So yes, in a sense, for someone that doesn't understand that, could think, lefty, you shot yourself in the foot. But at the same time, you don't also have to spend a buttload of money to still run a proper ad.
But the question is, how did you cover that after you made that statement or before?
After.
There you go.
And I always put little disclaimers.
Imagine like YouTube land, right? Where you can see the watch time. I would be very interested, and please share this with us. I'd be very interested to see if the watch time drops right there.
Okay.
To where people are like, I thought I knew you, baby. And they just left. Before you gave them the explanation, they were just like, oh, it's not for me. Cool, bye.
All right.
I want to know. I'm very, very curious now.
I'll share that stat. Absolutely. I am an open book. I will show anybody.
And there's nothing wrong with it. It just means that maybe you put out a different part 4 and just test them against each other. See what happens.
Yeah.
And there's an interesting strategy when it comes to the intersection of instructional design and sales and commerce. So this moment happens when you're running a challenge, when you're doing a video, whatever, where you want to have that kind of spin that happens. So you're teaching them something, they're along for the ride, they're all on board. Heck yeah, we can do this. We feel empowered with the knowledge you are imparting on us. And then you give them this moment where you go, but actually there's so much more on the other side of this door, and I can show you what's through that. That's that moment that's going to make people go, okay, if I'm ready to achieve those results, I know that there's this one thing that I need to get over, and this person can help me get there. The big domino, in other words.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So you can have it. You can do the exact same thing in the exact same time that Lefty did. But if you finesse the wording in a way and you make sure that you've sprinkled enough pre-knowledge or seeds of, we're going to talk about ads in a little bit, so that they're prepared and they're ready and they know when you get to ads are big and scary. We recognize that, but I'm actually going to show you how to do it in a way that is not going to break the bank. You recognize those objections ahead of time. You deal with them ahead of time. You present the information. So when it comes time for you to make that moment, that switch, they're already ready on the other side. This is what, or part of what, oh my goodness, I want to call him Marlon Brando, but it's oh my God, I'm totally blanking on his name. Amazing sales guy, runs the
oh, I know that guy.
Did the presentation with Russell.
That's Marlon Brando.
Not Marlon Brando. Oh my God.
You said he did a presentation with Russell?
He did the presentation with Russell. You and I went in about halfway through, and he was talking about sales objections. He's like the king of sales. All of his stuff is very Bible centered.
Are you talking about Giggly Eddie?
No.
Joseph Giggly Eddie?
No.
No one, by the way, no one. I dare you out there. Pronounce his last name. Like, write it out phonetically in the comments. Everyone I've asked has been like, I don't know. We just call him Joe. We just call him Joseph. We don't know. No one even tries. 3 events now. No one knows how to say his last name. So Joseph, if you're ever watching, man, help people out. Put it in your cover photo.
Yeah. And you know what? The funny thing too is that like because I don't script a lot of my stuff, I also call myself out on my own shit. Right? So you'll see from time to time disclaimers pop up in my videos where today I mentioned the whole thing of like, yo, ads are your best friend or your best bet if you really want to reach a larger audience quicker, right? But then during that moment where I was like, you need ads, I was also like, don't take this literal. Like, you know what I mean? Like I popped that in. There's another video where I wanted to put out, and I was going from like section to section because I have 3 different recording spaces, and the one area that I had to put in my video, the whole entire shot was blurry, like the whole sequence, everything, and I was chopping in and out from it. Swear to God, first scene came up, sorry that I'm blurry. By the time the second shot came up, it was like, yep, still blurry. Third time, deal with it, it's blurry. Like I call myself out on
deal with it, it's blurry.
I call myself out on my shit, and I think that's what makes it funnier as well, because it's like I know that I made a mistake. I'm like experts still make mistakes. We're still human beings.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to be like, oh my God.
If anything, experts make more mistakes because they're trying to go as fast as they can to what works.
It's funny. It's funny that you say that too, because it's so weird. But have you noticed that when you're the expert, it's almost like you can get away with mistakes, but if a new videographer came into your pipeline, you're so like, this has to be perfect or you're not getting hired.
Very true. Very
right?
true.
It's just so funny how it's like, oh, look at Lefty just shot an amazing video for Molly. Oh, I guess he forgot his Starbucks cup in the frame. But then all of a sudden, a newbie would come around and he'd be like, what the hell, man? You left the Starbucks cup in the frame? Are you a complete moron? Like, and you get so like angry and agitated at the guy. It's like, oh no.
Yeah.
Bob Ross would say those are happy accidents.
Yeah.
Happy cups.
It's meant to be there. If the Starbucks cup is in there, it's meant to be there. Don't you know that? Everything in cinema is fabricated.
What I find interesting is that, and I love that about your personality, is that you do call that stuff out and you make fun of it. And I think that's awesome. I think that's great. Because if someone is thinking about it, you've addressed it in a funny way too, towards like, yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Like, all right, let's move on. But like, that's funny. That's funny. That's a unique thing about you, and I love that.
Thank you. Because I mean, like, I still put time and effort into that video. Like,
and you have to like you have to make it all happen the way it needs to.
And I'm not gonna not post it because, oh my God, I was blurry. Like, big deal. Like, I mean, I have this problem where it's like when I'm shooting a short film or if I'm shooting a documentary or anything that requires my cinematic expertise, I'm always shooting manual. I'm never shooting auto or automatic autofocus or anything. Manual all the time, every single day, all like just always.
Would you say all day, day?
All day, day. Manual is the best way to go. But there are times where I have to set my camera to a specific focal length, and then when I get back into my studio to record a YouTube video, the distance doesn't match up and I'm blurry and the background isn't focused, and I just
deal with it.
30 minutes of my life gone. It's like, all right, well, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. I quit.
Quick shout out to the sales ninja, Jay Lee, who left those last 2 comments there, including the blurry beast.
The blurry beast.
He said he's the blurry beast. So, as always, thank you so much for joining us, Jay. We really appreciate it. And if you would like to join us, you're more than welcome.
all of this talk, Lefty, has made me feel very overwhelmed at the idea of having to record and edit and all of that kind of stuff. So let's switch a little bit and let's start talking about repurposed content.
Yeah.
And because tonight we're talking about multi-channel strategies. So multi-channel meaning we are putting out one piece of content. We can multiply this, but let's talk simply. One piece of content goes out on different platforms, different channels, think of it as your Facebook page, your Facebook group, your YouTube page, your Instagram, your TikTok. All of these are different channels, different ways for your people to come hang out. So Jim and I were at Funnel Hacking Live, and I'm a big Lazy River fan. I'm not good at it at all. Jim's very good at lazy rivering.
How are you not good at
I tried everything, and I would get stuck in the corners.
Do anything.
I know, but it just
you kept trying to do stuff.
We're talking like a legit lazy river, like you sit in a donut and you just.
That's it. That's the only requirement.
But I would end up going backwards. I would find corners to get stuck in. And it's a curve. Like, it was ridiculous. But I tell you about this because there's the lazy river, and then beside the lazy river are all of these crazy water slides. Crazy water slides. And one of them I looked at and was like, no flipping way would you ever get me on this. It like shoots you down and then shoots you up a wall and then straight back down.
I'm ready.
One where you smack your back.
Yeah. Yeah, no thanks. None of that. And then there's one over on the other side. It's just like a nice, gentle, lazy river, but in vertical slide format. So each of those different water slides is going to attract a different segment of your audience. TikTok, you're looking for the same people, the same general audience, but what you're doing is getting the people who are on TikTok. And then a different segment of your audience you're going to find them on Instagram, and you're going to find a different segment who reads your blog or engages with your podcast or likes to watch your long form video content on YouTube or likes to just watch your shorts. Each of these different channels you're using is a different water slide that's going to attract the same people or different segments of the audience and bring them all to that same lazy river so they can watch me fail and find a corner on a darn donut shaped lazy river. Okay. So with that, in order to make sure that you are visible across all of these different channels, we're not saying go to every single channel and be on every single channel at every single time. Don't do that. But say you have 3 main channels or 2 main channels, or even just 1 channel. In order to be truly visible and truly present on all of your channels, you got to create a ton of content. But if you use the idea of repurposing your content, you can take one long form video, chop it up into a whole bunch of smaller pieces. We can even change formats and turn a video into a blog post. We can make a summary of that blog post and we can send it out as an email. We can make an even shorter summary of that and make it like a TikTok or a short for Instagram or YouTube or whatever. We can use those same topics that we talk about in our year of content plan, and we can break up those themes into even smaller pieces that we can then send across all of these channels. So I'm on this mission to do 5,000 pieces of content in the year. And it's actually, I did the math, and it's not that hard once you think about repurposing and changing your formats. So that's my preamble to this section. What are your thoughts, Jim?
I mean, I am a fan of what Hormozi talks about. And, Steve lightly talked about it, but I think Hormozi dug in deeper because he was learning as he went. Yeah. But essentially, one platform to a million. One platform, one product to a million. And then once you get there, then you can expand out. On repurposing, I think that, yes, I fully agree that it's worth it. I think that before you launch right into repurposing, I would like to see you kind of get a grip on one platform. Of just like, this is how I communicate with this platform. I feel pretty good about it. I know I can derive a lead from it. Cool. Now I want to take that premier content, that foundational content created, which is what we create with the year of content, is foundational content. like this. This is a foundational piece of content that we can then parse out to different platforms to then get more eyeballs back onto our foundational content. And I fully agree with that. It works incredibly well. The only problem comes in when you go over, when you try to go right into quality in the beginning, is because you just don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So another thing I've heard from Alex recently with all of his testing, and Caleb, his main guy that he uses for all of his video shooting, is that in the beginning it's quantity, which is counterintuitive because we say we want to give quality over quantity, but in the beginning you don't know what quality means to you guys, to the audience. So in that time when you're figuring it out, that's when you're going quantity. I'm just going to go with a bunch of different stuff and see what people are landing with, and then I focus and focus and focus and focus.
I love this. I love this so much. Do you want to know why I love this?
Why do you love this?
Because like I'm kind of Team Molly and Team Jim on this one. Like I'm not here nor there. I'm not like yes or no. So
you're Sweden.
What I've noticed, yes, I'm a little bit. What I've noticed in my long trials and tribulations and climbing mountains and going through snowy blizzards and just
charging Teslas.
And charging Teslas. What I've noticed is I agree with the repurposing, but then there's a part of me that doesn't agree with the repurposing. But it's repurposing in the sense where it's like my people on Facebook don't necessarily care, or sorry, the people that I have on Facebook aren't the same people that necessarily care to see what I'm going to put on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. So yeah, you can repurpose and you can create different content, but sometimes you have to understand that different platforms require different things from you, and it's not a one fix all solution. And in terms of repurposing, I mean, that's where I stand on that. But then at the same time, it's like you should be on all platforms. But I also do agree that you should master one because you want to be like not the jack of all trades, master of none, right? So yeah, I know that's from my own personal experience where it's like I have different things for different platforms. Like TikTok likes it when I do just more selfie driven phone, just regular phone talking head stuff. Obviously Instagram, Facebook wants to see a more polished professional look, and YouTube wants to see me just talk about video marketing but be an ass at the same time. So it's like I can't repurpose being an ass on Facebook when they're expecting a different type of content from me, right? Yeah. So it's like a gray area.
So the way we repurpose here on the Visibility Hacking channel, we start with the year of content process. We have our weekly theme. That weekly theme informs the live show episode. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Is coming back soon. The showcase episode. It influences what we talk about on Friday Night Live. And then, as you guys know, the process I do is I'll talk about my topic for either a segment of a show or a YouTube video. Then right after I'm done editing that without even moving, or recording that without even moving, I record a short version. And then I go again and I record an even shorter version. So I'm practicing what I'm saying, and I can bank some of those pieces of content. I can sprinkle them out later to reignite those themes in people's minds and draw those connections again. And then from there, we take that weekly theme again. We write an article based on what we actually talked about in all of the different stuff. And then that becomes a blog article. We write a summary of that. That gets sent out as an email that will draw people back to that article. And then we also have a monologue that's written for the podcast from the theme Then we take feedback from people who have seen the content throughout the week. We turn that into a discussion post, which also becomes a highlight reel we take highlights of that and we put them in as podcast episode for the week as well. And it's all based around one theme for the week. So yeah, and that's not even to touch when we actually straight up take our long form videos and create short form content off of that. That's a whole nother world of repurposing that we can get into as well.
So, go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
I was going to say, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So for those of you that may be watching are like, no. So you don't have to go that far. You can use things like Descript and pull out a couple gems that you think are going to contribute to someone being inquisitive, have that good hanging loop at the end, like what Netflix shows do, so that you binge the crap out of them, and to where you want to watch the rest of it, and just post that up on your stories, your reels, short form content to get people back to your premier foundational content. I think personally, from my experience, start there.
Yep.
That's something that's easily repeatable. It's not going to take up all your day, and it's going to be really good content to get people into your world. And the cool thing is you can practice with putting up all these different clips as stories and get really quick feedback. Like, oh, that got 300 likes and 10 comments. This one got 0 and nothing happened.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, cool. So I'll talk about this a little more this week. And then you can keep refining there. It's very fast feedback in the short form content world, which is one of the things that we're very passionate about here. And I know Lefty in particular is, because he is our short form master. But like it's a wonderful way to test very, very quickly and get just a feel, a vibe from your audience.
Yeah. And don't worry, if you feel overwhelmed by the idea of editing stuff, here's the simplest tutorial on how to do it. One, you know how we love to talk about shows. You know, I'm always pushing you guys to StreamYard because that's what we use here in the visibility hacking team. So get yourself a StreamYard account, set yourself up your show. We can show you how to do that. Live Academy, all that fun stuff. We'll talk about it later.
Even I did it.
It's
that simple. I don't ever go live. So if I can do it, anybody can do it.
Anyone can do it. So set yourself up a StreamYard account, get your show together. Even if you wanted to create it as simple as our book club, for example, which is really just one color background, our cameras show up, and then we're done for the day. There's no fancy intros or anything like that you have to do. You record your show or you put it live. Always, I love putting it live because that means the world gets to engage with you and you get to not have that thought in the back of your head that you're screwing up. And so you can just stop the recording and press it again. No, you just go with the flow live. And then what's so simple is in StreamYard, you go into your recordings and now you can create snippets and clips and it'll send them directly to the platforms you want them to go on. So we can take Friday Night Live after this episode airs. I can then go back and look at the whole episode and snip out pieces that I like and automatically just go and send them off to the YouTube channel. Easy.
So you, even though you were talking about like this big, crazy, large spider web of content, the simple thing which people miss out on, or the purpose of what you were saying of what they missed out on, is that you have motive behind your content. And that's what, and I feel like the reason why people can't repurpose 90% of the time is because they create with no purpose. Yeah. They're just like, oh, this person put out a 3 reasons why video. Heck, whatever. I'm going to do it too. Oh, this person did like things I wish I knew before I started. Okay, screw it. I'm just going to put it out too. If you don't have, and Molly, I know you were sick last week, but we literally covered this day 1 of my 5-day challenge. And the first thing we spoke about was motivation, right? So it's like, you need to have motive. Yes, you have 5,000 pieces of content, or at least you're going to have 5,000 pieces of content by, let's say, December 31st of this year. But it all goes to one narrow, tiny little sippy cup of a straw tube, right? Where other people will have 5,000 pieces of content and it is just, no, I don't know where the hell this person's sending me to. So if you don't have purpose behind the content, if you don't have motive, what is the motivation behind the content? If you don't have that, then you might as well just stop producing right now. Sit back, take the weekend, understand who you're speaking to, what you want to put out, and then just start all over again and come back with a fresh game plan.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said.
Well, so repurposing video content strategy is insane. Yes, it is. It's like video inception. Yes, it is. Where you keep generating endless amounts of killer videos. It's true. It's true. But again, you start with that motivation. You start with the why in the year of content. That's the first thing you have to come up with is what are you actually teaching people? Like, what is it that is the most important thing? So that topic wise, everything comes back to that. The next thing you have to think about is what is that customer journey? Where in your customer's journey are they seeing that piece of content? So we talk about funnels a lot. So use that imagery. Top of your funnel is going to be a lot of what we call your hello content. The stuff that's just at the top of the funnel, getting to know people. Also in the visibility hacking world, we call this your park content, where you're just kind of like grazing about, checking people out. Some people might resonate you, others might not. And then you might get people who are further down your funnel. So let's talk about Jay Lee, the sales ninja, because we love you, Jay. So Jay Lee has this awesome program. And when you get to the end of his program, he invites you to the next step. And then I'm assuming he just keeps inviting you to the next step because he's brilliant like that. So every time that customer gets deeper in with you, goes higher up in your value ladder, deepens their level of intimacy with you, gets better level or higher level of access or higher level of service or whatever it is for your business. So with Jay, once they pass that first threshold of, I think it's like a 12-week really intensive program, then he invites you to that next step. Those who have crossed that threshold now can start seeing a different kind of content. They might want something that speaks to that identity. Because once you cross that threshold, your identity as a customer changes, right? Like, think about it if you're in the funnel hacking world, if you're in the ClickFunnels world. There are those who have never been to funnel hacking live, and then there's the rest of us. So those, like, once you cross that threshold, you can never go back. Your identity firmly changes because you have seen or experienced something, right? So in Jay's program, you go through that intensive, you make it through to the end. In order to do that, you have to learn a ton. You have to put into action a ton. There is a lot that has to happen, but you are changed when you cross that threshold. So now content can speak to a different person. It can now speak to an ascended level of your target audience, and so on as they go up and up your value ladder. So your hello content is going to change. It's going to say different things. It's going to speak different messages. Yeah, that's my brilliant.
Can you take me higher?
So glad you're just so good at videos. Like he is really good at videos.
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Do you guys?
I'm just really glad you're so good at videos.
Do you
and
want
DJing?
Look, do you want to know why?
No.
Okay. Here.
I missed you guys.
Look, here's the secret sauce for anybody that wants to know. Anybody that wants to get good at video. Here is the secret sauce. Exactly what I just did. You want to know why I produce good videos? Because I don't care how I show up on video. If I want to make an ass of myself, I make an ass out of myself. And guess what? It makes for good content because I am not shy about it. Whoop-dee-doo. I'm going to make one video. You guys might have a laugh. Guess what? I'm going to put another video. You guys might hate it. I'm going to put another video. You might laugh again. And that's how it goes. Just be unapologetic you when you film.
He means it. Ask his wife; she'll agree.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my
God, I
goodness,
put her
Lefty,
through the
that reminds
ringer.
me. That reminds me of when I was starting to get those ridiculous comments. So, backstory, I decided that I am not going to allow myself to have that excuse of I don't have the right makeup on, or my hair doesn't look perfect, or I don't have a professional makeup artist to do my makeup before I film. I'm done with all those excuses, and I was just showing up as me, right? I'll wash my face at least. And I was getting these comments like, girl's so old, but she's trying to dress young. This is horrific. And like those kind of comments that were like, whoa, I could take this to heart and this could really like hurt me. Or I could take a step back and remember what we learned in book club when we're reading the YouTube algorithm from Daryl Eaves, where we're like,
book
no.
today, by the way.
Oh, I'm so close. I'm so close.
Oh.
Where we learned that the algorithm actually doesn't see good comment versus bad comment. The algorithm doesn't see the emotion that I'm feeling when I read this comment. Instead, if I decide to just authentically, we hate that word, but as myself, as my personality, respond to that comment, you get to see more of my personality. You get to see how I get to be a little bit witty, and you get to have that another check in the algorithm, another boost of engagement, because there's 2 comments now instead of just one. And you're like, my
literally double the comments.
Double the comments like that. We'll 2x your comments and
but you know what? I literally, look, I had a comment come in too. I think it was like a couple days ago. I don't remember what it said word for word, but it was essentially like a thanks tips type of comment, right? From somebody who obviously was at a decently like expert level. And I literally had to respond to them like, hey bro, like I'm not only creating content for the James Camerons of the world, somebody is going to come and watch that video and be like, oh crap, I didn't know that, so thank you very much. But yeah, he kind of was just like, thanks tips, and I was like, oh yeah, well, you know what, I'm going to kill you with kindness, here I go. And another thing too is that like when you show up on camera, you got to think of it like you're acting. Like there's different people. Like, what do you think when I'm sitting on the couch watching cartoons or playing video games, I'm all like, like, no, like I'm
yes,
like,
yes, I do.
That's exactly what I imagine. That's exactly how it is in my head.
Yeah, I imagine you like you're asleep in the morning, and then your alarm clock goes off, and immediately you're like, yeah, all right, it's Lefty time.
I mean, look, I am one of those people that like the alarm goes off and I'm just like, woof, woof, put the clothes on, let's go downstairs. But at the same time, I'm not that animated character every time. Like, here's a perfect example. If you or anybody that you know, or even if you're just watching TV, if you have a news anchor in your family, when they come to your house and you just go, hey, can you pass the peas if you're at dinner? They're not gonna be like, yeah, and the forecast for the peas are dinner. Like, they don't speak an anchor voice to you.
Absolutely, the Germans are coming. This is my non-denominational diction.
So yeah, so they're not speaking an anchor voice to you. So the beauty about showing up on camera is that if you are an introvert, create a character that's an extrovert. Be somebody else that you inspire to always be or wish that you could be, because you could literally be anybody on camera as long as you're just not like being fake about what it is that you're putting out, and you're not going so overboard to the point where it's not you. But that's the best part, is that it's acting. You can have fun with it, do whatever you want, be whoever you want, and just show up and have a great time. And I don't know, now that you said it, I'm gonna go watch Netflix after this, and I'm just gonna be like, oh my god, did you see that scene? Like, I'm
Oh, as you're saying this, Lefty, it reminds me so much of the advice I give to my new staff and to young teachers that I'm working with. When you're engaging with kids, if you take off that mask of all of those ideas we have as adults of like, I'm not pretty enough, or I'm not enough something, or I'm too something, get those ideas out of your head. Pretend that you're a kid again. Or if you need to, go engage with some children in your life. Like, don't be creepy about it. Hopefully ask their parents and be part of that thing. But I'm blessed with the ability to, or the opportunity on a regular basis to be able to work with a variety of different kids doing really fun things. Like we teach fire building, for example.
You teach arson to children.
I do. And like we work with knives and sharp sticks, and it
all adds up. It makes a lot of sense.
It's the way to be. It's Canadian survival. But the thing is, I think about the way that I teach kids. And when you take off those masks, you put those aside, you allow yourself to just be a kid again, be excited about things again, like really get excited about things. Like when I'm going to go teach our survival skills course tomorrow, oh my goodness, I am so pumped to show these kids the new shelters that we've been working on and to see if they can really accomplish the challenge that I'm going to give them to make a shelter that's big enough for 10 people. You think they can do it?
Probably.
Versus, we're going to go play in the forest with some sticks and whatever, kids, have fun. Like, we're doing the same thing, but
we're playing Lord of the Flies, kids.
Exactly. It's like
who gets the rock?
When you turn it up to 11, it translates as a 9, if that makes sense. Like if you turn your energy level up to 11 and you're like, I think I'm a little bit over the top, people will read that as not quite the top. And
I'm
you just
so happy you said that.
Just keep working at it.
I am so happy you said that, because we've all heard the expression, the camera adds 10 pounds, right? It's the same thing with your energy level, except it doesn't add, it subtracts. Yeah. So if you're at like an 8, you're going to sound and look like you're a 5 or a 6. So you need to go to 10 or 11 if, like Molly said, you want to be an 8 or a 9, because that's just how the camera captures us. Ask me how. I have no idea. I'm not the one that built the thing. I just know how to use the thing.
Well, with Lefty, it's a little different. See, the camera adds 2 inches of beard.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh.
With Lefty.
It's secretly, impressive. Lefty's like clean shaven.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey, look, Dylan John, one of my favorite YouTubers. He does like a buttload of Final Cut Pro 10 tutorials. And he is also one of the owners of motionvfx.com. And I purchase a lot of plugins from his
Black Friday.
Yeah. I don't care.
They got an awesome Black Friday deal.
I go full price with that guy because you know what, Dylan? Everything that you do is so worth it. But it's so funny that you mentioned the beard thing, because like he never addressed me by my name when I started getting into his comments. He's like, that's a fantastic comment, Jason Momoa. And now I'm just like, hey, bro, if I was to, let's say, go into like DaVinci Resolve and I want to get all my same plugins and just kind of transfer them over, like, are you going to charge me again? Or can you just give me the source file so I can get it for DaVinci Resolve? And you'll just be like, yeah, you know what? We'll talk about that, Jason. Like he just always refers to me as Jason Momoa. It's so funny.
Oh, we love Jason Momoa around here.
Oh yeah,
who doesn't? Aquaman.
That guy's pretty much Vancouver grown now. Okay, with all the films that he's done over there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So my biggest contribution here is permission to play. Give yourself.
Don't get too deep into it. Because we're talking about
I know, but it's a big deal. It is a big deal. And we'll dig deeper into this, obviously, but permission to play. Give yourself permission, like she said, to have like a childlike aspect or a viewpoint on what you're doing. And that's going to help you and serve you in such a big way, because now it's playing. It's not, I'm waiting for judgment. And it's not judgment, it's feedback. So it's reframing, and that childlike play is one of the big reasons that you'll be able to reframe. It's just allowing yourself to try things.
Yeah.
And your audience will let you know what their votes. Vote up, vote down.
We were playing silly games, the race where you put an egg on a spoon and you have to like race with partners. So we were doing this during March break. I'm working with these wonderful, wonderful children, and the egg drops and it cracks. So if we're creating content and our content is our egg and we're like running across the floor and we're like, oh, I need to get this egg solidly to the other side because that's what success means. And then it cracks. And it falls on the floor, you can look at that cracked egg and go, oh no, everything's over. It's all done. I failed. I needed to get the egg whole to the other side. And now it's smashed on the floor. I'm going to burst into tears. Everything's failed. Or how would, if you had like a young child around you, how would you usually respond to that? It's the exact same way that if they fall down on the floor and they look at the adult and they wait for a reaction, you're not going to burst into tears and go, you failed.
Say, rub some dirt on it and take some tussin.
You just
say, learn today, baby. That's what I'm going to say.
And then you pick yourself up and you get back going.
Yeah.
That's the kind of mindset. The give yourself permission to play, give yourself permission to explore. And that's what creating lots of different kinds of content is, throwing all of those different kinds at the wall. Allow yourself to do that. And don't allow those comments that are people qualifying themselves out of your ideal customer block. Don't allow those negative comments to affect you emotionally. Because A, they're feeding the algorithm. B, they are pre-qualifying themselves out. So you don't need to waste your time trying to qualify them through the sales process. And C, you're just practicing. You're just putting stuff out. You can always delete it later. I promise you can do that.
Speaking of a killer mindset and the mindset of a ninja, we have the sales ninja with us, Mr. Jay Lee. Welcome, sir.
Look how this guy looks so good despite the despite the
you killed my father. Now you must die.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
I'm just trying to bring that 12 energy on the 10.
That was good.
That was amazing.
That was good. Welcome, Jay. Welcome. So I would love to hear your opinion. We're talking short form content. We're talking ways to get people started, to get stuff out there, to just try things. And what's amazing is that you have literally gone through this process. So what have you learned? And what would you want to tell just baby Jay, just not too long ago, baby short form Jay? What would you tell him?
So cute.
He's just a baby ninja.
The sales baby.
I actually found the soundtrack to Jay's brand today. I sent him voice notes. I think some new fun stuff is coming our way.
I like it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think we have the right people in the room, definitely, because you guys have all been incredible participants in my video creativity, video confidence, visibility hacking, video Jedi-ism to help me gain the clarity, the confidence, to try and experiment. And like you said, Molly, earlier, just like, some of the content you're not sure. And, that just putting out mass amounts of content. And guess what? These guys have created my Sales Ninja show. And I just went live. And there were times where I was like, I'm going to go every Tuesday. I'm going to go every Friday. And I'm going to do, just go out there and create content and put people on the hot seat. And like, that's really hard to do when you're getting someone unstuck in real time and you have no idea what industry niche. Anyway, so it was incredible practice because you just put the reps, and Atomic Habits by James Clear talks about tiny habits give radical results. So that was putting in my reps. And, it was just like baby Jay doing his little, 5-pounders, right? Right. Yeah, there you go. Look at that.
That noise needs to be my ringtone. That needs to be my ringtone immediately.
That's hilarious.
I'm gonna figure out how to make it.
Cuckoo caca. Cuckoo caca.
And then you, after the show, you started creating incredible short form content with Lefteris. And
That's true.
what is that process like for you? And like, what advice would you give to someone that's like a little scared of getting started, a little self-conscious, worried that, you know, their Aunt Susan's going to see it and never invite them to, you know, the cookout again, or like, you know, Thanksgiving dinner? What do you advise to them?
True story. I was a pastor for 10 years and I started putting out video content. And one of the members that I helped in a retreat that I was at a men's retreat, he said, "Would you please stop with that sales ninja stuff? I'm sick and tired of it."
All
right.
right.
And like Molly
Hit
said,
ya.
you know, maybe you're not dressed properly, maybe you're not blah, blah,
Yeah.
blah. And I thought to myself, well, maybe that's it for me. Maybe that's the end of Sales Ninja. Right. And one comment was just like, oh, that's really, really hurt. And it hit below the black belt.
Yeah.
The references.
But
Jay,
you
we
know
gotta
what?
get you a key, bud.
I took the saber and I slashed that criticism.
There you
And
go.
I took that visibility hacking confidence that you guys have usurped in me. And instead of abdicating my role as a sales ninja, I took the man, the myth, the legend Jim Beard, and the visibility hacking queen Molly Durst, and the sales video Jedi powers. And I said, I will form the head.
Yes.
And
That's
I just went
amazing.
out there and I just started showing up.
I wish
And
I had a
said,
dead mic to drop.
I don't give a flying rip of what anyone thinks, because I am done with what people think about me, because I was a people pleaser my entire life.
Yeah.
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 So what would have been lost, Jay, had you have not pushed past that? Because you've done some serious numbers.
2022.
You've done some, not just numbers, but you affected a lot of people's lives.
Yeah, 2022, you know, I was procrastinating, you know, launching the Sales Ninja business. And with your help, I launched it scared and did a 64K launch in 30 days. And then, as you know, Jim Beard, the Akbar Sheik Award, the
buddy,
trophy in 100 days. And my goal was to impact 100 coaches in 2022. And I'm thinking, gosh, I don't even know if I can impact 2 or 3. And I counted in 2022, 542 coaching lives impacted. And millions of dollars generated. One of my clients was doing 0 to 2 million in 18 months. Another client did $1 million months for 10 million annual recurring runway.
Absolutely incredible.
Amazing. Amazing.
And to think that one person's comment could have done away with all that.
Yeah.
So I took the Inception model and said, how do I create this purpose video content, slice and dice it with the sales Jedi saber, and visibility hack it, cha-ching, so that we can sales ninja this and impact some more lives.
You win the Mad Libs for the week. That was fantastic.
That was good.
Yeah.
So Jay, I've worked with Lefty as well on shorts, and it's an exciting experience when he shows up ready to film. There's that energy, and Lefty's
the Greek god
amazing.
is in the house.
Exactly, and Lefty's amazing at bringing out that personality. And I've watched your content evolve over the last while. And so tell me about who were you in terms of mindset? What were the stories that you were telling yourself back when you first started? Like that first set of shorts that you filmed with Lefty, what was going through your head? Were you skeptical about this process? Were you all in? Were you just kind of winging it? What was that like? And then what are those stories you're telling yourself now?
Huge skeptic, didn't like social media, hated going on camera, was a former introvert. So, I mean, imposter syndrome, procrastinator for 3.5 years, didn't want to launch my business, didn't know my self-worth, hesitated to start, all these things. So I was like, if you look at the, fool or failure or loser or least likely to succeed in the digital dictionary, that I thought at that time in my mindset was J, aka Sales Not Ninja Lee, right? And so it was a very, very, very poor mindset, not anywhere where I am today. Lefty shows up, slow motion, high definition with his long wavy hair. I go and I'm thinking, you know, I'm supposed to be the celebrity in the spotlight, and we go to film, and they're like, "Hey, are you Aquaman?" You know, like, right? And I'm like, "Yeah, this is I'm filming him, right?"
That's amazing.
He did though a few times. He did.
Yeah, and there were many times where I'm like, I can't get a single video blurb out because I'm like, and then Lefty, you know, being the cool, collected video sales Jedi that he is, he'd be like, slow down, let's start over again, just say these 3 things. And I'm like, okay, those are the things I need to say. And then I say them, and then boom, and then magic happens. And then we go out on campus, we go to the beach, we go to the water, you know, we go to different sites downtown Toronto, just all over the place. And there's just that practice makes permanent, and those tiny habits of putting your little reps in. And then you start like getting, oh yeah,
Scare your dog.
You start getting stronger.
Show off the guns to scare the dog.
You know,
that's it.
Who let the dogs out?
You know, it's a kind of touch base on that, right? Like Jay and I, before we started working together, we had pretty much only had interactions online, right? So we've never met in person. And, you know, believe me, it could have been a personality type like mine could have been very, very daunting to someone who has more of like an introverted personality. Like, Jay, I'm surprised you weren't just like, whoa, man, just get the hell out of my house, okay? But
I was thinking that at the time.
But you know what? It was, although they do say, you know, you should kind of come in, match personalities, get a feel for one another. I also feel at the same time that if it wasn't for me coming in all hot and excited the way that I was, that it would have taken a little bit longer to bring Jay more outside of that comfort zone that he was saying that he was having a little bit of trouble with. And we created some like really, really killer content. And we had, you know, we had tried with, you know, short form content in 2022. We did a lot of that. And I think now in like the last 5-6 months, we've kind of just been testing and trying out new things, seeing what will work on a new platform. And then, of course, you know, Kelly!
Oh, my goodness, what is happening right now? This episode is sponsored by PETA.
Yeah, Kelly's my #1 fan.
This is the late night edition of Friday Night Live.
Yeah, it's past an hour. That's when we go off the rails. So Richard actually says, oh God. Richard says, not one person's comment, because we were talking about one person's comment could have changed the directory or the trajectory of Jay. He said, but a negative response to one person's comment is the pivotal point. So how you respond back to that comment is a pivotal time.
Well said.
That's well said. Very well said.
Very well said.
It's about framing that moment. And you can share your brand personality in that way. Like maybe you could have a witty response if your brand personality is naturally witty. If your brand personality is more like, actually, by the way, we were saying da 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 da, show me to your manager, you can respond in that way. And allow that moment to be something that's actually going to be positive, because it's feeding the algorithm. That's what I tell myself every time. It's feeding the algorithm. Thank them. My go-to is thank you so much for sharing your feedback with me. I hope you find content that serves you better. But thanks for feeding the algorithm.
Yeah, you know what? Like it's, I'm gonna say this on live social media television right now. Jay Lee,
let's cut it off. Let's go and broadcast.
We're cutting off. You just see the broad.
Oh, that's so cool.
Can you imagine? You just beep, 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 beep. You're just censoring everything that I say. No, but wow.
Sorry, what was that?
Wow. Wow.
This is it's awkward now, isn't it? It's awkward. Sorry.
Hey, I was gonna say something positive, okay?
All right, hit it. Go ahead.
All right, in front of everybody. You know,
I'm not touching any buttons.
I've had such an amazing time working with Jay, and I love working with Jay, and he's doing amazing things. He's renovating his house, and this moment in time of him renovating his house has made me sad because it's made us distant. And I can't wait to see you and film with you again.
Oh.
Well,
Yeah.
that's just sweet.
And
That
you
was
guys are
really
just trying to cut me off? Now here it
Well-
comes. What the bleep? Did you bleep?
No, I felt a weekly win coming on, and I think that's a win.
That is a win. It is a win. Jay, come back.
Oh man.
Amazing.
Oh man.
Amazing.
But you
All
know
right,
what?
Jay. Once we end this show, I got a question for you because
Okay.
we let me like plant the seed, and then when we're done, we'll actually have the conversation. But StreamYard new feature that we are also playing on right now. So hello to everyone who's watching on the Create with Lefty channel, because we
Oh,
are
hello.
trying out a new StreamYard feature right now that allows us to share the live stream to audiences from our guests. So if Lefty's here as one of our guests, he can share this to his channel. And Jay, since you're one of our guests, you can also share this to your channels. So I see an opportunity for the visibility hackers to serve the Sales Ninja community at a pretty fun live streaming way. So that's my seed planting.
That was the comment I actually left you saying.
I know.
Let's stream. Yes.
Yeah.
That's where you got it. So I'm gonna ring the bell.
Yeah.
I
I
never got one
nurtured
of
that
those
seed. You didn't get a bell?
I never got one of those bells.
Oh.
Yeah.
And it's awkward again.
Yeah.
Crickets.
No, this is an opportunity for Jay to serve Lefty when they reconnect. To
This is
create
where like
connect-
Jay just drops off the call.
Oh.
Bye guys. Bye, guys.
Yeah, about that. Bye.
Oh, I hear my dog calling.
All right, let's go ahead and start closing her down. So Jay, any closing statements, sir, about your experience and obviously where people can find you? Because if you guys need to know anything about sales pipelines, sales in general, if you've never sold a thing in your life and you need to, Jay is not just amazing, but he's the guy.
Wait, which way?
Absolutely incredible for all things sales.
There he is.
Scripts, situational, product, service, high ticket, low ticket, it doesn't matter what it is, Jay. And he does it in such a wonderfully ethical way to where you will actually have them asking you for the sale, which is absolutely astounding. So Jay, where can they find you, my friend?
You can find me on my sales funnel at the gosalesninja.com, www.gosalesninja.com, or they can find me at www.facebook.com/groups/Sales Ninja Community. What
And Lefty, where can they find you, my friend? I mean, obviously I can see it just below your chin, but still.
Yeah, well, that's a start. Wait, there it is. Createwithlefteddys.com, www.createwithlefteddys.com, of course. And, you can find me on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. Yeah, YouTube. That's where we are right now, too. It's the
The
streaming live.
YouTubes.
The YouTube. Honestly, all the social media platforms are right there on my landing page. So if you just go to my landing page, www.createwithlefteddys.com, you can find me anywhere else you need from there.
All right. Molly, go ahead and walk us out.
All right, do you have closing remarks, my friend?
As usual, we know that your time is your most precious thing that you have. We appreciate that you spend it here with us every Friday. So we'll see you on the next one. Go out there and create something friggin' amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't really say much more to that, so I'll just bring you the news. The live show is coming back. The showcase. I know I've been talking about it. It's coming back. So you got to just keep your eyes out because we're about to hit a huge milestone in the visibility hacking world. And only then will I announce when these shows are coming back. So invite your friends. Let's have a party. Let's have some fun here. And my friends, I will see you very, very soon. So check out the visibility hacking YouTube channel. That's my bro. Be amazing. Lift your little weights. Put in your reps, friends.
You're my rips.
Nice one. It's almost.
And that's a wrap, everybody.
Wait. Do that one more time.